Welcome back to the new edition of this particular YouTube channel, Adeayo Pro Tips. Of recent, someone made a comment on the last video, which happens to be the day 6 of our 30 days challenge on how sports bettors make profit. And what the person said was that the person commented like diminishing return. And when I decode that particular concept, I felt like probably maybe the person is kind of trying to refer to this particular challenge as something that is not really moving forward. But actually, the worst thing that many people are experiencing in this particular sports trading is even more, like far worse, that the concept that the person used as diminishing return. Alright, so in today's particular video, we are going to look into day 7 of our 30 days challenge on how sports bettors make profit. I know that sometimes most of our odds does not always reach 2 odd. We are actually following some certain steps because we are using some certain strategies for this particular challenge. For example, we are using the over 1.5 goals and any team to score 3 or more goals on a row, and depends on the games that meet up with our analysis. These are the kind of games that we are going to predict, because this particular challenge requires more accuracy than odds. So if you guys are saying that we are predicting maybe 1.3 odd or 1.4 odd, it's not that we deliberately, or maybe probably we are scared of playing games, just that most of our games must meet up with the analysis. Alright, now so moving on to day 7, and we are going to look into some of the games that we have that are expected to end up as over 1.5 goals. Actually, we're supposed to include any team to score 3 or more goals on a row, but unfortunately, we don't have enough games that meet up with the analysis. Alright, so the first game that we have on the list happens to be under the German league, and the game that we have there happens to be the match between Bayern and Werder Bremen. So this particular game is actually expected to end up as over 1.5 goals. Just the only problem that we are currently having with it is just that the odd that the bookies are allocating to it is very small. We are having 1.05 odds on it. But at the end of this particular video, if the odd, the total odd that we are able to generate from these particular predictions, if this removing these particular games will not affect it, then we are going to remove it. But if not, we are going to leave it like that. Alright, so the next game that we have on the list happens to be under the Bolivia league. This particular league, they are very good for predicting over 1.5 goals, and this match that you guys are seeing on your screen is actually expected to end up as over 1.5 goals, and we have the odd for the over 1.5 goals to be 1.17 odds. So now moving on to the next game, we are going to look into China Super League, and under that particular league we have up to like 4 games or 4 fixtures there, but we are going to look into just one game, and that is the match between Shanghai Ports and Wuhan Three Towns. So this particular game that you guys are looking at is expected to end up as over 1.5 goals. Actually, under this particular league we have more games that are expected to end up as over 1.5 goals, but I want us to look into this particular game as our over 1.5 goals prediction under that particular league, and we have it at odd of 1.09 odds on it. And now proceeding to the next game under the Finland league. So we have a particular game there under the White Coast Liga or something like that league. So this happens to be the game that we are going to look into under that particular league, and this particular game is expected to also end up as over 1.5 goals. But as you guys can see it, I think the bookies are not providing us the odd line for the over 1.5 goals. We have only over 2.5 goals at odd of 1.35 odd. So this is the reason why I'll be making use of the go band option, and I'll be setting it up from 2 to 5 plus, which is very equivalent to predicting over 1.5 goals at odd of 1.09 odd. So it is the same thing as predicting over 1.5 goals, because this particular game should end up as at least 2 goals and above. They can play 10-0 if they like. Alright, now so proceeding to the next game, we have the Austria 2 league. That is, I think, the second league probably, I don't know. But when you check this particular game, ST Potin and Stormgrass 2, so this particular game is actually expected to end up as over 1.5 goals. But the way I'm looking at this particular game also, I think the bookies are not providing the odd line for the over 1.5 goals, and we have over 2.5 a thought of 1.37 odd. So we are going to make use of the goal bound option, which we are going to set from 2 to 5 plus, and we are able to get the odd for that at 1.10 odd. So this one too is equivalent to predicting over 1.5 goals. Alright, so the next game that we are going to look into is very close to this particular league, and that is, I think, the Zech League. So let's check that too. Alright, so now we have Slavia Prague and Dukla Prague. This particular game is also expected to end up as over 1.5 goals, and the odd for this particular game is 1.12 odd. So we have 6 games so far, and we are looking into total numbers of 8 games that we are expecting them to end up as over 1.5 goals. Actually, we have another game under the Argentina League that is expected to end up as any team to score 3 or more goals in a row, which is no. But unfortunately, we are going to skip that into this particular video. So the next game that we are going to look into is under the Netherlands League, and that is not the major league, the main Netherlands League. I think that is their second league, and we have the match between LC Cambo against Young PSV. So this particular game that you are looking at is actually expected to end up as over 1.5 goals at odd of 1.13 odd, and we have just one game left to be predicted as over 1.5 goals, and that particular game is under the Saudi Arabia League. So please, if you are not using this particular bet platform, please kindly make sure that you select these particular games manually. And under this particular league, we have 3 fixtures for today, but the games that we are actually looking into is Al Ittihad against Al Nassr. So this particular game is actually expected to end up as over 1.5 goals, and the odd that the bookies are allocating to that is 1.09 odd. Actually, this particular odd may be different from your own bet platforms. Depends on the kind of bet platform that you are using. The odd may varies. So we have just the total numbers of 8 games that are expected to end up as over 1.5 goals at odd of 2.21 odd. And don't forget, I mentioned to you guys earlier that in case if you want to remove the match of Bayern against Werder Bremen, you are good to go if removing that 1.05 will not affect your total odds. And don't forget, on this particular challenge, we value our bankroll management a lot. And don't forget, the total percentage that we are using to as our fixed taking amount is 30%. And I told you that from day 1 to day 10, we are going to use 30% of our total balance for fixed staking amount, and from day 11 to 20, that will be 50%, and day 21 to 30, that will be flat staking amount. Now 30% of our total balance currently, we are going to use it to generate the staking amount of this particular round. Alright, now so for me, because this happens to be my total balance, and I'm going for 2313. So if you guys are joining us for the first time, please kindly make sure that you engage this particular challenge with care. Although out of the last 7 days that we've been playing, we only lost once, which happens to be the day 4. So if you guys want to join us on this particular challenge, just make sure that you approach this particular challenge with discipline. Please kindly make sure that you bet responsibly. Alright, so now we have our staking amount as 2313, and also in case if you have any question regarding to this particular video, please kindly drop it in the comment section. And in case if you want to join any of our group, you are going to find the group link in the comment section and also in the video description. And most of these particular games for this particular challenge are coming from our private circle group. So if you want to be having most of our booking codes daily, you can actually join our private circle groups for more discipline tips. More discipline tips in the sense that on this particular group, we value accuracy and consistency more than quantity. So in case if you are not if you don't mind about odds or total numbers of the odds, and you value consistency and accuracy, you can actually join us. Alright, so see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and like this particular video. See you guys. Bye bye.